I did it. I kept another commitment to myself, and it feels really good. It wasn't easy to keep because everything was working against it, and I had a lot of excuses why I could have not done it. So I made a commitment to myself to get up at 5 a.m. so I would have time to get ready and get out into my garden as the sun rose. Give myself a peaceful morning for me in nature. If you saw my previous video, you know this is day 2. I started this 10-day challenge yesterday, and it's just a challenge to myself to get up at 5 a.m. every morning so I have time before my babies rise to take care of my garden. Also, hi, I am A Rose. I used to get my value from external metrics, how I did in school, what college I went to, what job I got, where I lived. However, over time, I chose to return to a rural life with family and nature, a slow life, one where I measure myself by internal growth. It's a life I used to not think was worthwhile, but now I find the deep value in. I am a recovering chameleon. I used to be so good at blending in. I would find a situation and know instantly what I should be doing. But I'm slowly learning how to actually be true to myself, even if that means I have to stand out. I am all about learning, growing, becoming a better version of myself. And I want to share those lessons with you. I used to think I had to get there. I had to arrive before I could share these lessons. But now I want to take you on a journey with me instead. Welcome to Growing with A Rose. So, my garden this morning, what I worked on was tying up some tomato plants, and I watered everything. It was not easy to get up this morning because my 2 kids woke up. Between the 2 of them, I got up 4 times last night and woke up multiple extra times. I definitely, around 4:30 in the morning when my toddler woke me up, I was definitely thinking there's no way I'm gonna get up at 5. And then it started thundering and lightning, and I was like, see, it's gonna rain. It's perfect. That logical side of me absolutely was going to hone in on those excuses and be like, okay, I could just sleep till 5:30. Like, I could hear myself negotiating and thinking through it. And I was like, wait, nope, stop. We committed. We're getting up at 5, and even if we have to work in the rain, and I don't know, record ourselves drenched wet inside once we get back inside, we are gonna keep this commitment. And I did, and I feel really good. And it didn't actually rain. It's just a little cloudy. It was raining really bad to the south of us, but we didn't get as much, which I guess is good and bad. It's nice for me to be able to get out here, but we actually do need some rain. Not that you need to know that. Anyway, I think my big lesson today is the value of just committing. I can talk myself out of anything. I can talk myself into anything, it feels like. Like, I can think, oh, this is a great idea, I should do that. And then I might start, and then I can talk myself out of continuing. And sometimes when you just listen too much to the voice in your head about whether you should do it or not, you don't end up sticking to anything, because I feel like you can create arguments for either side. If you don't believe me, go to ChatGPT and ask them a question or like say something, and then they'll give a great argument, and then you're like, give me the opposite, and that's a great argument. Literally, you can argue your way into or out of anything. At least for me, it seems like that's what the value is in just committing. So I made a commitment yesterday. I'm like, I'm doing this. And then I made the video and I uploaded it, and then I second guessed it, and I thought, oh, that actually probably wasn't a valuable video. Nobody was watching it. Maybe that's not the right format. Maybe I should stop and do longer format and actually make sure I have an outline and make sure I have really clear, concise points. So, okay, maybe this was a terrible idea. And then I'm like, nope, stop. We committed. 10 days of this, it doesn't matter. They don't have to be perfect. All that matters is just doing this commitment. And I've accomplished a lot in my life, but one thing I still struggle with are those small commitments to myself. Like, if I commit to myself that I'm going to have the kitchen cleaned every night before bed, I somehow still fall off, it feels like sometimes, or this type of commitment. The number of times I've committed I was going to get up at 5 a.m. and have a morning routine, and it only lasted a day or two, is honestly sad. So that's one thing I'm really been focused on working in myself, is keeping those commitments so I can have more self-trust, so I can know that I am the person that's going to do what I say I'm going to do. And I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to talk myself out of it. I'm not going to, make a commitment and then realize that, oh, actually, there is a logical reason why I don't have to keep this. Because, again, we can always think ourselves out of it. Like this morning, I absolutely was on track to think myself out of it. If I hadn't have already prepared for that situation, if I hadn't have already thought about yesterday how easy it was to talk myself out of it, I think I might have. But I started small with this one commitment, and maybe it's a larger commitment, but it's a commitment I can control. I can do it no matter the rain, no matter the weather. We're in July, so we probably won't have to deal with that much rain, but regardless, I can do it. No matter what, I can keep this commitment, and I'm not going to let myself talk myself out of it, and I'm going to prove to myself that I'm trustworthy. Going forward, I'm going to be a lot more careful about the commitments I make to myself, and I'm really going to work to keep them, because I want to be a good friend to myself. I want to be a friend I can trust, someone who does what she says she's going to do, so I can feel more confident. Sometimes it's hard to even talk to you guys on camera. You guys. I guess eventually it'll be you guys when there are more people who see this video. But anyway, I talk about these ideas, and if I don't keep commitments to myself, that voice in my head that's like, I don't know if you really should be giving advice, is pretty loud. And not that that voice will ever really go away, but I think the more I can keep commitments to myself, and the more I can be the type of person that does what I say I'll do, it just makes me feel like it's more true, that I am able to actually give out wisdom. I feel like I'm more qualified to give out lessons of what I'm learning when I actually stick to those things myself. Because if I jump all around and I don't end up sticking to my commitments, then it's even harder to feel like I'm qualified to talk about it. So, which I do want to say that you don't have to be perfect in every area to be valuable in some. So I know that there's a lot that I'm doing that's wonderful, even if I sometimes struggle with certain types of commitments. But I know if I keep these commitments, then I'll be more likely not to. Maybe my self-image will improve. So we'll see. This is just day 2 so far. I feel really proud of myself. I feel proud of overcoming those obstacles. I feel really at peace. This morning I set a timer. I really wanted to jump right into recording this video, but I knew that the first and foremost, my task was to take care of the garden. So I set a 15-minute timer. I worked on just taking care of the garden. I ended up going a little longer, and then I knew it was time to record the video. This is a little bit all over the place because, again, the whole idea is just to come out here and drop down the random ideas that are on my heart. I hope it gives you some value, and if it does, comment and follow along.